Friday the 13th series fans. Nate and Beth back to review Friday the 13th series, Season 1, Episode 5, Hellowe'en. So,
starts out kind of happy.
Honestly, yeah, this might be, I'm sorry to say, my least favorite of them so far. I think I even like the monk one better than this, but this starts on, this is a good one to watch on Halloween. I imagine this came out somewhere around Halloween, I would imagine.
We didn't look at the air date, but probably.
I don't think there are air dates, but probably came out around Halloween. It takes place on Halloween, and they're having this party at the shop to kind of make up for the bad blood that the shop, has in the neighborhood because of what's gone on in the past, and ironically only to, make even worse blood. A couple, they have
of Ryan's friends.
They have a
jokesters.
Party going on upstairs, and they blocked off the basement where all the stuff is kept, and
a couple of jokesters from Ryan's past friends decide to go past the sign, the warning sign, and go into the basement and sneak around. And they happen to unlock a crystal ball, and from which Uncle Lewis comes back through and just kind of speed it up a little bit. And so I'm concerned with all these people in the shop wondering what's gonna just be lifted, not necessarily stolen. And Uncle Lewis's spirit has a little demon who's a midget.
Little person.
Little person.
It's funny because they use both of the words dwarf and midget in this episode. So, and they don't say little person once.
Yeah, so the little person, after everyone gets cleared out, the lights get turned off by this junior misfits, and Ryan gets them upstairs and gets everyone out and gets the lights back on. That's when they find out that the crystal ball has been spoken to, not necessarily touched, but even crystal balls are pretty
crystally
sensitive, I guess they would say. They're the tool for most ESP people. So kind of speeding along the story. It was a lot.
Can I say something? So after all this happened and everyone cleared out, Jack goes outside and some little young girl's like, I lost my mommy.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of.
Oh, you were heading towards? Yeah, but you're calling her the dwarf. She's not a dwarf yet. She's this little girl.
The little person is a little girl.
And lures Jack to this place where he gets locked behind bars, okay.
Some kind of bars in the neighborhood. They're just walking in circles. Oh, my home's here, my home's here, my home's here. And then he gets locked into this iron bars, and the little girl turns into the little person. Obviously age difference, probably two different actors.
For sure, yep.
And all of a sudden the little person's back. No. So while the little person is distracting Jack, the older person, Uncle Lewis's spirit is having fun conning Mickey and Ryan into getting this amulet. I can't remember the name of the amulet.
It doesn't matter. We'll call it the amulet.
That I guess spirits, if they touch it, they become flesh. And this amulet is supposed to help Uncle Lewis get into a new body, but the person can't die a violent death. So the little person, how did they do that?
Well, you forgot the part where he was going to trick them into, he shows them this secret room, which might be the opening credit sequence room, where the camera goes through in the opening credits and goes through stuff. Because I think that record player or whatever is back there, but he shows them back when the spirit's trying to be all nice and repentive and seeming nice and stuff of Uncle Lewis. He's like, here's the secret room, go back here, and then there's this body of what is supposed to be his beloved wife get the amulet and bring it to her, and I don't know what he said.
I want to free her soul.
Free her soul, and then they bring it in there, and it ends up making him flesh. He double crossed him, and he over because he's so powerful now in the flesh. He just overcomes them and runs out of his secret room and locks them in, and he's got to go find a body that didn't die a violent death to, I guess, make him. Well, I don't understand why he's got to go in a new body if he became flesh himself, but whatever.
It only lasts for so long. I think it only lasts until like sunrise.
Oh, that's right. So he's got to get into a new body that hasn't died a violent death before sunrise. So the little person and he go to the nearest morgue and looking through bodies, and they're just disgusted and just bummed out to see that all the first ones they pull out are all bloody and have died of violent deaths. They wouldn't, in reality, they wouldn't still be, probably still wouldn't be bloody laying there, but it's a TV show. They probably rinse them off and shit. It's a TV show. Then they find one, a hearse is just conveniently pulling in, and this is, they died in their sleep, and they just, Uncle Lewis takes his big box and just slams it over the hearse driver's head, and with the help of the little person, they get that body in, and I'm sorry.
Mickey and Ryan somehow find their way to the morgue where Uncle Lewis and the little person are.
Let me say something real quick. Meantime, what's his name? Jack is hidden or is caught behind the bars, and a couple of assholes come out by in a truck and are like, "Hey, Gramps, hey, Pops, what are you doing back there?" And they're starting to just torment them, and then the guys. Jack's like, trying to get them all mad, so they'll want to break him out of there to kick his ass. So they end up tying a chain.
They got this like monster truck.
Tying a chain to the gate bars in the truck, and they pull it apart enough for him to get out, and then Jack's like, poof, has some ninja explode ball to get away before they can kick his ass. Okay.
So, and then back at the mortuary, I don't even know. I mean, the little person is taking Mickey and hypnotizing her and putting her in a casket. And
I don't know if we said that.
Ryan is trying to save Mickey, and he ends up going into a casket. And
somehow the little person puts him in a trance and gets them in caskets and is going to burn them like cliffhanger cereal, just slowly on the little rollers, just slowly going towards the burner on auto. And meanwhile, Uncle Lewis has this new body he's wants to enter into on the old pentagram and doing the old stuff, and what's his name shows up, Jack, and
Jack
they have by the way, for Halloween, we didn't even mention it, they're all dressed up in costumes. Jack's in like a sorcerer, Merlin the magician outfit, which is appropriate for this end scene where it's like evil Uncle Lewis versus good Merlin the magician, and they're both trying to do their spells at the same time, and it's kind of like funny. And do you know anything else that happened?
Kind of drawing a blank right now.
Okay, so obviously I would imagine somehow before that happens, Jack comes in and rescues, was it Mickey
and Ryan?
Ryan, and then they're having a fight with the little person, throwing things back and forth. Little person throws something, hits the fuse box. There's 2 moments in this episode where a fuse box goes out. That's kind of funny, but it just hits the fuse box. We don't know until and the clock stops. We find out later on that the Uncle Lewis is like, "I've got plenty of time. Look at the clock," and then they're like, the clock stopped, and then they pull the thing from the
shades
window,
out.
and the sun hits Uncle Lewis. He's like,
he's out of dust. But see, we don't know what happens to the amulet. They never really go back to that. So they're back in the shop, and they're cleaning up the shop from all the mayhem from the party and whatever. And Ryan is like, "Oh, at least we have another full year before Halloween hits, and we can
we don't
relax.
have to worry about anything like this until next year." And Jack says
2 weeks is Friday the 13th, which is kind of a cliffhanger. So what? That might be leading up to the next episode.
We'll
which
take a quick look. See, I don't think it's called. It's called the Great Montaro.
Montaro, the Great Montaro.
So we'll have to see what that's all about. But yeah, for me, it's probably my least favorite so far because unlike the last one, there wasn't a whole hell of a lot going on. Just kind of a. I didn't love it. I'll give it a. Instead of a thumb up, it'll be a sideways thumb, like it's sideways.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Nate on this one. It wasn't a thriller. Too much information thrown at you at once.
Well,
I'm gonna have to give it a sideways thumb.
so for you, was it the least good
I
one
wouldn't
so
call
far?
it the least good one, but it's not gonna get a full thumbs up.
How does it? Because you weren't too keen
Well-
on the second one either, with the monk one. How does it compare to that for you?
They're about equal.
Okay.
But I did like.
Well, the
I
monk
liked
one
how they kind of. The monk one was a little bit more fun.
and fun with the floating guillotine.
Yeah,
blade.
I liked the floating guillotine blade in the monk one. So that kind of caught my interest. Like this one, there wasn't very many special effects. It was more like hand-eye trickery.
See, I guess the reason I wasn't so keen on this one is I'm not the biggest fan of the supernatural mysticism shit. And what I love about the episodes that I've liked so far is it's kind of like the last one with the gimmick of the cup with the animated. You know, that stuff is fun to me.
And normally I'm into this kind of like supernatural, casting of spells and
Why do you-
amulets.
Not this time, huh?
It was just overboard. It was too much. Like the little person as a demon and Uncle Lewis, just way too powerful. And
Just-
sorry, it
I'm
it
not
was a
sorry.
good show. A lot of stuff happened, but I'm only gonna get a half thumb.
Half thumb, yeah. He played some. Jack played some funny magic at the beginning with busty patrons of
I was kinda
curious
hoping he would
goods.
remember that.
Oh, I forgot all about it.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Well, now I did after I said it. What was I saying? But anyway,
The whole premise of this episode, and in kind of reality, if this could be a reality type thing, they were really just trying to bring good spirit back into the Curious Goods antique shop, and backfired.
yeah, it's worse now. Neighborhood.
Now the whole neighborhood thinks it's completely haunted.
I'm
and-
surprised that they'll even let him keep the shop after this episode.
I don't know. We'll have to find out with the Great Montero.
Which is the review coming up next.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you. Till next time.